This time on Jester's Garage, we're working on SAS'PRILLA's running boards. After discussing the idea and making a couple drawings at the Jalopy Shop, we spitball a little bit to refine the shape. Rob builds a custom forms and hammers them out. We will show you most of the techniques he used to create these one-of-a-kind running boards. It's all part of reshaping a 46 Chevy Pickup right here on Jester's Garage.
This thing back farther, and so maybe not come in here as far, maybe hit in this area here and bring it out.
Okay.
A little less sharp of a curve, maybe come in here with like a 3-inch radius, so it transitions into that fender a little bit.
Using my drawings, Rob cut a piece of 20 gauge to mimic that basic shape. The next logical step would be to take a narrow strip of 20 gauge, break it into a 90, and then recontour using a shrinker stretcher.
I still think that curve needs to not be as aggressive towards the front.
Right.
So that's kind of almost your tangent from that fender there, isn't it?
Yeah, we need a little bit of curve in this part. And what you got on the other side might be too much. This needs to be just a nice little gentle, almost the same as this. You see, you could lay this underneath there and almost mock that up. I was thinking that this whole thing would end up, you were right about there. And it needs to come this way just a little bit, and you were here.
Yeah, that black line was where I took off.
Yeah, I think that if you did a little bit more this way and a little bit more that way, and just had it more gentle, and then it made it the same as that. Well, you can't be afraid to put it on and take it off a few times, that's for sure.
Did it stay there?
Yeah, I think it'll stay.
Now when you get back around like you're talking, it just completely disappears there.
I think it's nice.
I want to take some of that curve out of it back there where
It's just like half of a couple of those crimps, you know?
And mostly probably right in this area.
Right in here. Because I don't think you need a whole lot. It's
shoot that one right there, and then we'll put it back up here and look at it.
Okay. Now you're just stretching it back out a bit.
Yeah, just gonna take a little bit of that back out of it there. It goes easy.
It does. Yeah, it doesn't take much, does it? Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. The interesting thing about coming in here is it actually comes out. It comes out in the middle. Might be a little bit wider in the middle. I don't know. Or is it just an illusion on my part?
Well, I think it is an illusion.
Okay. You probably like it around the corner more, or you like it this? I'm looking at.
What I'm not liking is how flat it is right here.
Yeah.
I can't come up with a good solution for it. What if this flared just to here at the end? Would that be bad? We'll put a little flare in and see what it looks like and take it back up.
Yeah, we can.
This might be too far in, but we can adjust that pretty easily. See what it's doing. Just pretend the camera's off, Jess. Don't be nervous.
Is the camera off? Yeah, she's getting there. Yeah, I like that.
Moving that back is better, for sure.
Yeah. You can see how that one curve now is matching that one. And I really like that idea, how it just does that. It's a better transition. Both of these are transitions.
I was almost thinking about cutting, instead of the running board running up against the fender, I was thinking about cutting the fender and have it protrude into the, cut the...
Yeah, make a pocket for it?
Yeah, make a pocket so
Sure.
it comes up into the bottom of it.
Yeah. Yeah, she's coming together. Really like it.
Take a little bit of the bulb out here.
Right.
Because this looks too much, this is overdeveloped here, I think. I think that needs shrunk back.
Okay.
So it doesn't dive under. That doesn't look right.
Is that the way the factory was? Or is that just
I didn't have enough fender when I started.
Okay.
We're just kind of guessing.
Right. Yeah. You were just taking that curve and just bringing it around.
Yeah.
And in some instances that would look really good, but like on the front of a car, but not on the back at this point. I still think that the back of that needs to curve up just a little. You know, maybe just a little bit here. Like that. Or it kind of goes this way. Just slightly. Oh. And that could be subtle like this is.
Using that basic shape we came up with in the spitball session, Rob made a couple hammer forms. Stacking 2 layers of MDF, he achieved his 1.5 inch hammer form. Then he progressively routed until he got a 1-inch radius.
Check it out, Rob. Stop right there. That's it. Bolt it up. Bolt it up. Just put this on. Yeah. I could just Bondo this. No. Wood grain. Wood grain.
Of course, he had to make both the passenger side and the driver's side.
So this is the first iteration of this thing. Just come off the hammer form. We've got the bottom lip of this welded on to stiffen up this running board. So we've got a nice 1-inch radius on the outside of this, going into a compound curve, running up the running board on a convex curve, and then switching back as we get up to the front, so it's tangent to the curve of the front fender right there. Hoping you all can see that. What we've got up on the inside, this here's a factory piece, comes down and it meets, this is the old flange of the running board that we just cut off. And we've got it all vice grip together right now for mock-up. Plan is, filler strip. This is set right in here. This filler strip will get trimmed down and tacked in to make one solid running board. And at that point we can start mocking up what we're going to do for a step plate on this thing. That's all still kind of up in the air. Things we are thinking about right now. How we're going to transition this into this back fender right here, because we don't want to have a sharp edge right here. We do want to have possibly a curve going like this that matches the curves on the back of the fenders and the front of the fender up front. So what the current discussion is right here is how we're going to put a flange on the back side of all of these pieces to meet the back fender. Granted, this fender's been widened 2¼ inches through here. We want to make this all one piece. So this seam right here, where the filler strip hit the old running board, that's going to be stitched together and everything on the back will be cut off. So this will all be one solid running board. Then we're thinking, something we've been struggling with here is how we're going to transition into the front fender. This curve, when it ran underneath the front fender, left a gap underneath here. It just looked hideous. And so we made up this little 90-degree filler and curved it to fit in here. And that looks all good. Curving the back of this fender to match the back one again. The idea that we just came up with in talking was maybe we eliminate this seam right here, weld this solid to the fender, and then put our transition right in here. Right now we've got the sheet metal cut a little bit too far straight for that, but we may cut down on this arc, which matches the arc up there on the hood. So we got a little continuity in there. So that'll require redoing this flange, but I think that might be the winner. That'll get rid of this seam right here and clean that all up.
Yep.
And I think we're looking pretty good. Once we get to that point, then we can start throwing out some ideas for the actual trim that's going to go on top of the running board here, because we want a functional running board here. So
Yep. That'll be in stainless.
that'll be stainless, maybe some rubber elements inside of that. Yes.
Yep. Oh yeah. And it'll be removable. It'll have a screw-on base from the bottom up.
Yeah, that's the idea. We can take it off as you use it, because they want to be able to use the running boards as running boards. As that gets scratched up, take it off, sand out the scratches, polish it back up, back in business.
Right on.
So,
Cool.
trying to make this thing very usable. It's going to be a very nice truck. We still want them to run the wheels off of it.
When Rob was getting ready to do the second one, which is the passenger side, he had an epiphany. The idea was to take a large piece and hammer it all the way down to the bottom, and then flip the thing over and actually do the lower lip all in the same piece of metal. Without that weld on that outside edge, it'll be seamless. The extra effort will pay dividends by having less welds. As you can see, Rob has used all kinds of tools. Everything from ball peen hammers, of course, body hammers, slappers, flange pliers, you name it, to get the job done. You just have to be persistent, keep moving that metal until it's where you want it to be. After he had flipped it over, he was able to fold the lower edge over into a 90. Unlike the other side that was welded, it was a great idea and it actually worked well.
You know, I'd say something funny, but I know it'd end up on the next video.
Say it, Nate. Come on. Just won't put it under.
At this point, Rob used basic hammer and dolly tools to flatten out all of those imperfections on the bottom edge of the run board. As you can see, he had plenty of metal there to build the whole thing. That way he didn't have to add a filler strip like the driver's side. At this point, using Clecos, he fastened it to the flange of the original running board. Then, using the big black fatty and a scribe, he got that perfect bark he needed.
What's so funny?
Hi, how you doing?
Am I getting too close and personal? I had to give us a close-up.
Yeah.
At this point of the project, Phil adds square tube to the bottom of the running boards. These have been rolled to match the contours of the running boards. Then, after being happy with the layout, a whole bunch of rosette weld holes were put in and they were welded from the top side. This is all happening at the Jalopy Shop in Lewiston, Idaho. It's all part of reshaping SAS'PRILLA. And there you have it, SAS'PRILLA 6. Next up, we'll be reshaping classic Chevy bumpers. Thanks for following along on this 46 Chevy Pickup build. If you had missed any of the other episodes, they are in a playlist. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and a comment if you'd like to, and we'll see you next time on Jester's Garage.